I'm going to show you a pretty rare machine. Bally Midway made two of these shuffle alleys that incorporate a 19-inch TV along with the pins, but rather than the pins swing up, they're actually lit by fluorescent lights. Quick history on shuffle alleys. Up until 1977, Williams and a company before that, United, and then there was the Chicago Coin, were making shuffle alleys that used relays. Hundreds and hundreds of switches all doing this to make them work. But in 77, Williams converted to electronic boards. They were the only people left making shuffle alleys at the time. And up until 1996, from 77 to 96, they made 15 different digital or electronic shuffle alleys where the pins swing up. Bally Midway in 84 made 10-pin deluxe, and in 85 made strikes and spares. The problem was, because this machine didn't have the pins that swang up, and not using rollovers, but instead actual magnetic sensors that are activated by the magnet in the bottom of this, meaning it sails over nothing but the top here, the laminate. The teams did not like it. So if you had one of these in your bar, you couldn't run tournament teams. So these just didn't catch on. They didn't make many of them. Also, actually I'll show you another trick in the back in a second. Before I do that, I want to tell you one other thing. Stern briefly made shuffle alleys. Actually, briefly meaning they made one called Black Beauty in 85, and then unfortunately they went out of business, so they only released one machine. And then another shuffle alley was made called the Parker Bond Shuffle Alley, made in New Jersey, and he made 150 of the Parker Bond Shuffle Alleys. And that's pretty much it. That's the history of shuffle alleys. So if you do some quick counting here, we're looking at 15 from Williams, 2 from Bally Midway, 1 from Stern, and 1 from Parker Bond. Pinballsales.com made those. That's only 19 machines in all these years, and shuffle alleys are out of production for good. But doesn't mean you can't get one. Here is a strikes and spares. I really like how this one plays, and I want to show you what we did. We have new red T-molding on it. We've buffed and polished the playfield. The front of the machine has been repainted where needed. The artwork on the sides was really, really nice. But the most important stuff is in the back. If you come back here, they used the standard workhorse monitors, the Electra Home 19-inch color monitor. We've rebuilt it with a new flyback for the high voltage, new filter caps, and a couple other new parts to pretty much bulletproof that thing for a long time, we think. We have new fluorescent tubes in each of the pins. The neat thing about this is that these use a, let me grab a light. These use an instant on fluorescent light, what they call solid state fluorescent light. And we're looking at, gosh, this is 1985 technology, where this one, they have to flicker to come on. These come on instantly, courtesy of this solid state circuit board here. This board runs the fluorescent lights. Obviously, there's one circuit for each of the pins. We've reflowed solder on all the connectors, and there's safety fuses at the bottom. This is high voltage though. That's 110 volts in there, so we want to keep away. What we did back here is we changed the original linear power supply, and we put in a new switching power supply. So the game will be certainly more dependable. And I want you to see the circuit board here. Here's where the big difference is. 10-pin deluxe, Bally Midway used a cage system, and on the top board, the main board, they had a rechargeable nickel cadmium battery. And do you know that battery leaked over the years? So from 1984, if you open your machine up in 1990, the battery had leaked all over the main board. Unrepairable damage in almost every case. So most of the 10-pin deluxes got scrapped because they couldn't fix that board. That board was only used in that shuffle alley. And if you can't get the board fixed, then you're out of business. Fortunately, and we're very happy about this, Bally Midway chose to build this board without a battery backup. So there's no battery to leak, and therefore the board stays nice and clean. There's the front board here, which is the amplifier, and also programs the lights, and the back board, the computer's behind here, you can't see it. we took the boards apart and cleaned all the connections, and we reflowed solder on all these plugs to make that board nice and dependable again. It is actually easy to service too. The pins will slide out for service if you should have to get to a pin to change a bulb, which is a really nice feature. Frank, come, let's go to the front and let's start a game. You know, this machine was made before Brunswick Zone started putting the color monitors in the bowling alleys. Remember the displays and they have strikes? They had that before. They already thought of that. I thought that was pretty sharp. So we can play you can play 6 players. By the way, information on the internet about 10-pin deluxe being a 2-player is wrong. Both 10-pin deluxe and this machine are both 6-player machines, just like the regular shuffle alleys. The big difference is this plays 4 different games, not 5. The Williams play 5. You use this button here to select the game. This is regular regulation. The machine, all shuffle alleys default into regulation, but if you push the button, you can play a different one. There's strike 90, there's flash, which has the lights moving across the field, and super flash. The guide here explains the big difference. Anyway, the difference on super flash is if you get a strike, you keep throwing. We'll try this. See, no pin swinging up. It's pretty quiet other than the volume control. And of course it hits that rebound rubber in the back and comes right back. Now, ideally you'll sprinkle some sand or some wax. They call it shuffle alley wax. It's actually sand. And that'll make the puck go even better. And the game is basically the same as flash. If I shoot the puck down, it freezes it. Now if I get a spare, I'll get 300 points. If I get nothing, I'll get whatever my pins are. So I got it there. Pretty neat. I always thought it was a great concept, but it didn't catch on because it couldn't be used in tournaments. But it doesn't mean it won't catch on in a private home. So if you get a chance to see one of these machines or play one, I think you'll really like it. Just like the other game, they're a lot less money too to buy, and the maintenance I would say is less because you have less mechanical stuff to go wrong. Now you've got a good history on shuffle alleys. Renting a game for your next party. My daughter Terry will tell you all about renting games for your next event.
Do you want your next party to be a big hit? Rent one or more of our games for your next event. We have both old and new pinball machines, or a game that up to 4 people can play at the same time. Touchscreen games are a lot of fun. Or how about a bubble hockey? Our delivery men bring them in and set them up. We even rent jukeboxes. Go to our website for more information at TNTAmusements.com.
We're in the Yellow Pages under Amusements.